Something that I would say caught people off a little bit off their guard, maybe unexpected. Big news today. David Mustaine has announced that they will I don't know if the word re-record is, but they'll release their version
Reimagine.
Reimagine. I don't know. Maybe Reimagine has to do with a band has that song and then they reimagine it. This is sort of like recording his version of the song, Ride the Lightning, that comes off of Metallica's Ride the Lightning album, which was released in 1984. Dave Mustaine did 2 songs off that album, The Call of Cthulhu and, of course, Ride the Lightning. He also says he played a huge part in the co-songwriting and a lot of arrangements and music on the first album, Kill 'Em All, and Master the Puppets. I believe there was 2 songs as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. So what's the history of Ride the Lightning, Perrin?
You mean this show isn't about Rush tickets or Iron Maiden tour? Okay, Metallica's good. Megadeth is good. So yeah, so I saw Dave's little video today, and because I guess the big news today was they revealed the track listing of Tipping Point, or no, of Megadeth, the self-titled album, and lo and behold, the 11th song on the track listing, bonus track, is Ride the Lightning, and then Dave put out a little accompanying video explaining what he was doing and maybe a little bit about why he was doing it. So I don't know. I mean, what's the history of Ride the Lightning? I mean, obviously the original Metallica band was James, Lars, Cliff Burton, and Dave, and they worked on all kinds of things. You mentioned Ride the Lightning. You mentioned The Call of Cthulhu. Obviously Mechanics and Four Horsemen. There's kind of those songs are cousins, and Phantom Lord and Metal Militia, and Dave has credit on a lot of things, and he probably doesn't have credit.
Come on, jump in the fire.
So hey, yeah, I mean, look, so the history of Ride the Lightning is a song that was conceived by current members of Metallica plus Dave Mustaine. So it is a co-write. So I don't know if we can say that this is a cover of Metallica's Ride the Lightning. It's not. I mean,
I guess not reimagined. It's not reimagined. I'll tell you that much. Right. It's not reimagined.
Technically, it is a cover because a cover is you are recording a song that someone else recorded. So it is a cover, but at the end of the day, he wrote the song. So hey, more power to you. Hell, if Megadeth could have records featuring songs popularized by Nancy Sinatra and Willie Dixon. And I mean, you name it, Thin Lizzy. They've done so many covers over the years. Police Truck on the last album by Joe Biafra. I mean, this is
big question. Big question for everybody out there, and this is what we're going to answer at the end of the show. Blasphemy? How dare you take a classic song and re-record this? Or brilliant last album? Stick it to Metallica. Just shove it back in their face. So That's the big question. Was I dynamic enough?
That's severe. Okay, so what's your take on it, Jim?
Let's go back a little bit. Okay, Dave Mustaine was quoted in Rolling Stone magazine in 2017 saying, Lars wrote the melodic intro, and then the next part I wrote. And then the next part I wrote, and then the next part. That's what he said.
Well, good old Dave has always been, look at me over here. I was part of Metallica. I contributed, Dave has always been, had a bit of that inferiority complex, whether he should or shouldn't. And he's always been, happy to remind people that he contributed to early Metallica, which it's his prerogative. I think his music stands on its own and his career stands on its own. So I don't think he always needs to be doing the look at me thing. But, we know that there's angry Dave and there's Zen Dave. And when Dave is angry Dave, he'll say things like that in the press and in front of audiences. And when Dave is Zen Dave, he's kind of good with his place in the world. And I actually think Zen Dave is the better Dave. I think we got some of the better material.
I think so too.
When he's just happy with himself.
Quote, 1985 in Metal Forces magazine. He said, I think that when Metallica have got all their gold and platinum records, they should have the decency to say, here, Send one to Dave too, because he wrote all the shit and Kirk played every one of his solos. So it's just back when, things changed, right?
Yeah. Again,
he was bitter at the beginning, but now he's more calm and at peace with it. Accusation of theft. Mustaine accused Metallica of using his music after he was fired. I believe he said, I'm not sure which magazine he said, listen, guys, as he was leaving, don't use my music. And they did. So,
Well, it was also their music. So, it's kind of hard to kind of draw a line between their music and his music. Just because he contributed a quarter or a third or a half or whatever he might have contributed, you can't say to the other people who contributed, just throw this in the garbage. So
yeah. Well, this is what he said in that video piece that you're referring to before. He said they changed the solo a bit. Sort of like there's a little bit of back and forth between him and what's his name of his guitarist again? I forgot his name.
Kimu. Don't ask me to pronounce his last name.
Kimu. We'll keep it as Kimu. And Timu.
With a T. Come on.
Timu.
It's a common Finnish name.
It is Timu. He said that he's going back and forth on the solo a bit. Of course, it's his voice that he's singing. And he chose to speed up the tempo a little bit. So this is kind of interesting. But the big question
that's what interests me the most, to be honest with you.
Baron, is this the big question? Is this sheer brilliance? Or is this, you can't touch it. It's Metallica. It's gold. It's kind of like going back to Tom Sawyer and saying, you know what? I think I'm going to reimage it with the new drummer.
Well,
do you touch history? Do you touch history like that? Imagine that happened in Rush. You know what? We're going to do all of 2112 over again with the new drummer.
Well, look, let's not get into Dave's head here, but let's just say Dave always envisioned the song a certain way. And then he was out of the band by the time it was recorded and released, so he didn't really have a say in how it came out. This is his last record, allegedly. This is going to be his last opportunity to leave the world with, his music. And maybe it's always bugged him that Ride the Lightning was never, a faster tempo like he imagined it. So this is his one and only or last opportunity for him to put out to the world. If Mustaine had stayed in Metallica, this is what I would have liked Ride the Lightning to sound like. So that's fine. Look, I personally think this is more about clicks and streams and album sales. And let's just face it, if Metallica's name is attached to anything, it's going to get more interest. It's going to get more clicks. We're here having a show about it. It's going to sell more copies. So, I think that's part of it. But let's just say I don't want to be sarcastic, Perrin. Maybe I want to be earnest, Perrin, and say this is really about Dave wanting to, send out to the world a version of Ride the Lightning that he always imagined. So I think it's a good thing. And honestly, if it was going to be a straight cover, I'd be like, why the hell are you doing a straight cover? Why are you just releasing the same song?
Well, I think you said this before we started. We have to make sure to clarify to everybody who doesn't know this. It's a bonus track. And that's very clever of him to do that.
Yeah.
Right? That's very clever.
I mean,
so brilliant. I would say brilliant so far. Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, they've always had bonus tracks, and they've often had bonus tracks that were covers.
Yeah.
It's not like an uncommon thing. So if he was kicking around, what extra might I want to throw on this record? I've always wanted the world to hear how I envisioned Ride the Lightning. And you know what? Dave Mustaine, being pretty high up the pecking order of importance of heavy metal writers and players, if this truly is how he intended Ride the Lightning to sound, I'm curious to hear it. I do think it's about clicks and streams and sales. But
what isn't? This show is about clicks, streams, and sales. I mean, everything's about it. Why are we doing
this show? Why are we doing everything? This on YouTube?
I think I got to tell you, I think it's brilliant that he's doing this. I definitely do think it's brilliant. I know there might be some Metallica purist out there who are saying, no, you can't touch it. You can't touch it. Sorry. But I think it's brilliant. I was thinking as I was eating my supper, I go, imagine he does Dave Mustaine does Metallica and he just does all his songs on one album or co-writes on his album.
You know what?
MEGADETH album.
If he needed the money at some point, he probably would have done that. But I don't really think, he's had a successful enough career that I don't think he needs to do that. And I think that would be viewed as a bit too much. like Dave Mustaine, the Metallica years. It would sell whatever number of copies, and the completists would need to have it for their collection. I think that would scream desperation. Mm-hmm. But look, I certainly don't think this is blasphemy in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if I'd go all the way as to brilliant, but I would say it's interesting, it's provoking, it's worthy of our time. And yeah, I mean, if you made me choose between the two, it's definitely more brilliant than it is blasphemy. Because again, this is going to help album sales. This is going to, people were already anticipating the album in January.
No.
So this is, we all talked, when the Tipping Point single came out, we kind of reviewed it and we talked about it a lot. And then we've had a bit of radio silence about Megadeth for a while. And now, of course, they just announced that in North America, they'll be opening the Iron Maiden tour.
Yeah,
so a little bit of buzz started this week.
I'll be in Toronto. watching that show.
I'll be in Montreal, but the buzz.
I'll be in Toronto sitting down.
The hype machine started again this week. So what better way to build on the hype machine is to release the actual track listing of the record and let the world know that Ride the Lightning is on.
You know what's interesting here? Okay, here, I just thought of something as I was reading a comment. Winter in the Forest says he has a couple of song credits from Master Puppets. No, sorry. Rico Force 4478 says, I believe it will crush Metallica's version. But wait a second. Do you think the Four Horsemen is better or worse than Mechanics?
I think it's better.
I think it's way better than Mechanics. Actually, I can't even listen to Mechanics. Yeah. And it's not because the riffs aren't good or the tempo isn't good. I just believe it. Just the lyrics are so cheesy and.
Well, Mechanics was raw. Mechanics was the work of young men, honing their craft, and I think Dave just kind of took it as is and put it out there. And whereas Metallica worked. Say what you want about Metallica, they work hard. And
but Four Horsemen is definitely a more mature, thrashy, interesting. I mean, it's the Four Horsemen of the Bible, right? The Revelation. There is just so much more meat on that song than Mechanics. It sounds like
why does he have writing credit on the song? He has writing credit on the song because he came up with the central riff.
That's right.
Why he has writing credit on it.
So let's go back now. So I just gave you the comparison of Mechanics versus Ride the Lightning. Maybe it'll be the same sort of pattern. I mean, historically speaking, maybe his version of Ride the Lightning is that sort of vision that he had when he was young, and then there was a more mature version of it.
But the thing is, the time lapse between Four Horsemen and Mechanics was not a very long time lapse. Here, we're getting a new version of Ride the Lightning. How many years later? Like 43 years later, a year or so, we're going to be getting it. So better production value in today's world. Certainly more time to think about it. More money for studio time. So, look, I'm not going to say that, I think a speeded up version of Ride the Lightning might be very interesting. I don't know how it's going to work with Dave Mustaine's voice. So I don't know. I don't know. So, but look, when we hear it, we'll be able to say if it's better or worse. But I just think people saying now that it's going to crush have no idea.
Hold on. And that's what I'm getting at. I'm saying that
that's just who you like better. That's just
I think
you're Camp Metallica.
Perrin, I think there is no way. I'm not saying there's no way, but it's very unlikely it's going to crush the original.
Jimmy, anyone who's making a decision today is making a decision because they've chosen to put themselves in Camp Metallica or Camp Mustaine. Metallica are sellouts. They haven't made a good album since Injustice for All, and you're just Dave was ripped off, and Dave is the true after Iommi. It's Mustaine in terms of writing metal riffs. Like, you don't need to put yourself in a camp. You don't need to choose a side. Ride the Lightning from Metallica is pretty freaking classic, and it's almost considered a deep cut these days, right? Like, they actually brought it back on the last tour when they were doing different sets every night. They hadn't played it in a while, and it went over amazing. Like, who wouldn't want to hear that?
I don't think. First of all, it's a brilliant move on his part just to create the hype, like you mentioned, to get everybody excited about the new album, to bring the new album excitement to another level. But I do not think it's going to be better than the original. We've been listening to the original for 40 how many years?
Yeah,
40-something years.
or so. Yeah, like
43 years, 42 years.
Reserve judgment.
This song is sort of like an imprint in our brain, and any deviation from that, it's not like it was a poor piss song. I don't know. You took something from Bob Dylan and Knocking on Heaven's Door, then you take Guns N' Roses takes it and remakes it and makes it bigger, and it just changes the whole dynamic of the song. This is like a perfect song, and you're trying to make it more perfect.
But like, if it really is about him presenting it the way he always originally intended it to be presented, I think it's interesting. Here's the funny thing, though. So yes, it's definitely gonna shine a spotlight on the record a bit more than there might have been, but in a way, it's a bad thing because you just know it. Everyone is gonna, get either they're gonna unpack the CD or the vinyl, or they're gonna get their stream that day. And everyone is going to skip right to the bonus track. The first thing they're going to listen to.
That's good, though. That's good. I agree with you.
It's not good because
it's not good. Well, sorry, I thought it was good.
If you're an artist and you wrote an album of original material and you chose to sequence the album of a certain track listing, don't you want people to hear the album the way it was intended? Track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, track 5, and then ending with the bonus track. So now everyone's going to skip right ahead to the bonus track. And it's going to be perceived as the most interesting thing on the record. Like, I really hope it's not the most interesting thing on the record.
Oh, it won't be. It won't be. It'll be definitely what it is, a bonus track. I think it's a brilliant move on his part from a marketing perspective, not necessarily from a writing perspective. I listened to his video, and I forgot to mention this before. I listened to his video, and he's kind of like, how can I say this? Well, I've come full circle, and yeah, they wrote the riff, but I want to make it like this, passive aggressive, and he's kind of sticking it to them, but then pulling back a little bit.
I've always respected
sticking it to them, but then pulling back a little.
I noticed he said, "I've always respected James as a musician or a guitar player, and I've always respected Lars as a songwriter." He didn't say he respected Lars as a musician. He said he respected Lars as a songwriter. So anyway, we could all dissect what he said.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious he wants to go out with a bang if this is his last album. He wants to stick it to Metallica one last time. Wants to create this marketing hoopla. Everybody's going to skip to the last track, like you said. But that's what it's about.
I think that's unfortunate, though.
It's about creating excitement and hype around your new release and get people out there and buying it, and then by buying it, because of that, they'll, to your point, actually not to your point, but kind of to your point, they'll listen to all the other songs on the album and they'll enjoy it. So it's getting people to go out there and buy stuff.
I'm swearing to everyone out there in Metal Voice Land right now that when the album releases,
yes,
I'm not going to listen to Ride the Lightning first. I'm going to listen to it last.
I will listen to it first. We'll probably hear it first anyway.
I'm going to listen to the album in order, the way it's intended.
I will just go 3, 2, 5, 7, 1.
And then I'll listen to the bonus track. I'm doing it. So if you have my solemn promise out there, guys.
I'm also predicting this will be the next single. Well, I guess it couldn't be the single because it's the bonus track.
You wouldn't call it a bonus track then, would you? Like, who makes a bonus track a single?
But who would have thought he would have covered Metallica? So who knows, right? You never know. You never know.
If it's the next single, then calling it a bonus track is bogus.
Well, Taskmaster says he's going to listen to it 3, 2, 5, 7, and 1. Or maybe that was my order. And I'll be going like this.
I'm going to listen to it OU812.
Okay. So this is the final question. I will say it once again. Blasphemy or sheer brilliance? I think it's brilliant marketing wise, but I think it's blasphemy in the sense that music wise, this is where Ride the Lightning is. It will be around here. No one is going to say this is better than Ride the Lightning. It's like when Bruce Dickinson does Paul Di'Anno stuff. He does a song, Iron Maiden, not going to work. It sounds good, but you're always going to play the original. When he does Run to the Hills, Running Free. It's good how he does it. His performance is good, but you're always going to go back to the original. It's just too many years. It's too embedded in our brain to say to ourselves. I don't think it's going to happen. It's mechanics too. That's what I think. But it's okay. It's okay. It's mechanics too.
I will say in no way is it blasphemy. I will say it's brilliant-ish. But not brilliant. Brilliant-ish.
Mm-hmm.
With gusts up to brilliant.
Oh, gusts.
Yes. Like outside right now.
Is it raining?
It's raining sideways and it's gusting.
Okay. You want to see my Men Without Hats shirt?
All right. I don't know what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a Metallica hoodie, and I think subconsciously I threw on a Metallica hoodie before the show.
Okay. So listen, everybody, just leave your comments, brilliant or blasphemy. Thanks for joining. We'll talk soon.
All right.